AEW is forced to make a massive change going forward on their TV program. We're going to talk about it, but first, as always, we got some other news stories to get to, and of course, those timestamps are in the description down below. We're kicking things off. WWE, Netflix, what's happening here? You guys might remember in early July, Denise Salcedo came out with a report that basically indicated that Netflix will be dropping the Vince McMahon docuseries. Now, this story is very intriguing to me because Netflix is not a company that is shy from trying to avoid cancel culture, and sometimes they do find themselves in pretty big controversies. But of course, Netflix is losing subscribers these days. They're trying to pick things up. They're trying to create a whole bunch of content. There's even rumors of them adding WWE Raw and SmackDown. There's a lot of things that Netflix will try to do to remain at the top of the streaming game, which appears to be struggling for many platforms. Now, with that being said, there's a new update to that original report, this time from Wrestling Observer, that basically notes Netflix does not have plans to drop the Vince McMahon docuseries, which is actually surprising to me because when Denise Salcedo came out with that original report, it was very logical. It made a lot of sense. And it would not be a shock that if sources came to her and said, hey, look, like, yeah, that shit is not happening, I would understand that. Netflix is a company that is not, they're not trying to deal with the cancel culture stuff. And sometimes they find themselves in the middle of a lot of controversial topics and debates on some of the content that they upload. Now, Vince McMahon is one of those guys. He has been incredibly successful in the world of sports entertainment. He made WWE a true global phenomenon. And of course, a docuseries highlighting Vince McMahon is going to be very interesting. However, one thing I do want to point out, because I think it is necessary to point out, this is still in collaboration with WWE Studios, which means WWE being in cooperation for Netflix here. You never know how they're going to try to paint the picture here. You never know how much of the curtain they're going to open up, and who knows what they're truly going to reveal. But keep in mind, anytime WWE is involved with rewriting history, a lot of people are going to have mixed opinions on that. And of course, Vince McMahon, truly a legend in the world of pro wrestling and sports entertainment. But I want to know what Netflix is going to do with this project and how they're going to make it special. It's a very interesting scenario, but the idea is the project is still on, despite the fact that we don't have a release date. Speaking of WWE, Clash at the Castle is happening very, very soon. Ronda Rousey is not scheduled to be at the event. Very interesting. Dave Meltzer had also come out and did a little update on this. The original plan was for Ronda Rousey to wrestle at Clash at the Castle, which would make sense. I don't think WWE has had a major pay-per-view in the UK since, 1991, 92, something like that. So the idea that Ronda Rousey's not actually on the show is very interesting to me. Now, WWE has gone this route of suspending Ronda Rousey. She's a badass heel. At this point now, because of the fact that she's a badass heel, fans are actually cheering for her. But the idea is that Liv Morgan versus Shayna Baszler will be taking place on the card for the Women's Championship. And I have no idea what WWE's plan here is, but this idea of Shayna Baszler getting a push is very, very awesome. And if Shayna Baszler were to take out Liv Morgan, I would be all for it. I think WWE has a lot of big plans for Ronda Rousey. In fact, I would still expect Ronda Rousey to show up at the pay-per-view. She could still show up at the pay-per-view, be part of a massive moment, but she doesn't need to take away the shine from somebody who needs it. In this case, Liv Morgan and Shayna Baszler could very well benefit from having this singles match. But if Shayna Baszler were to win, I would love to see her go face-to-face with Ronda Rousey. I don't know if WWE will ever put them in a feud. I know there's a little bit of stuff here and there on TV, but I think there's a lot of cool storytelling that could be done here. This is the match to watch out for. I think a lot of people are sleeping on this, but I think there's a lot of possibilities from a storytelling perspective where WWE is going to really make fans happy. And it's going to be really interesting because it is Clash at the Castle. It's the first major stadium show in so long. WWE is trying to make this a very big must-see event. Ronda Rousey not being scheduled to wrestle, but still being on the pay-per-view could be a great way to keep pushing the product forward. WWE, Wade Barrett. Guys, this is amazing. So on BT Sport, Wade Barrett actually revealed in an interview that he agreed to a new deal with the company. He's very happy with WWE. Obviously, we have seen him on commentary in NXT. Him and Vic Joseph, I believe, are a fantastic commentary duo, but now we know he's extended. We got 2 more years of Wade Barrett in the WWE. So it's been revealed that he's going to be sticking around. I love it. Of course, if I had my way, I would love to see Wade Barrett in there wrestling again. That doesn't seem very likely, but I am excited to see Wade Barrett be a commentator for WWE. I don't know if WWE is going to change up the commentary teams when the draft comes around or whatever it may be, but NXT 2.0 actually has a very good commentary team. It's one of the things I do like about NXT 2.0 as well. But also, it's cool to know that these people are starting to be happier in WWE. This is a huge change for us. I feel like every time I would talk about WWE, there was always some sort of negativity, some sort of drama, some sort of backstage morale issues. And it appears that ever since Triple H took over, people have kind of shifted. And a lot of people, and I'm not saying Wade Barrett, had an issue backstage, but what I'm saying is a lot of people did have an issue backstage. So the idea that this is another key signing, re-signing, just tells you that things are going very smooth in the backstage area of WWE. Wade Barrett being a commentator is great. If there's ever an opportunity for him to get in the ring, obviously there would be a lot of great things that can happen. But I think right now him being a commentator for NXT is great. If WWE does want to change it up, you could put him on Raw with Corey Graves and Byron Saxton, or I don't know. There's a lot of things you could do. There's a lot of ways you could change up commentary team, which makes me wonder, how would you guys change up the commentary team? I think that's a great question to ask in 2022. I don't have anything against Byron Saxton, Corey Graves, and Jimmy Smith. I think they're pretty fine, especially now that they're kind of a little bit more relaxed. But I do want to see some sort of changes. So maybe Wade Barrett replacing Jimmy Smith could be cool. Maybe Jimmy Smith going to NXT could be pretty cool, especially with this rejuvenated shift of NXT, kind of starting to resemble a little bit more of the black and gold brand. Jimmy Smith could be perfect for that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. We got to get to our main event story of the day. Guys, this is really crazy. AEW has to make a massive change. According to the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reported that word has gotten to the promotion from Warner Bros. Discovery that they would like the language toned down. As best as we could tell, they have said nothing about the blood. There's a lot of changes happening in Warner Brothers Discovery. One Google search will basically get you up to speed with everything that is happening in this company. But keep in mind, AEW, one of the things that made AEW a very attractive company from the start was the fact that they were TV 14. Now, I have conversations with people about this all the time. Does TV 14 make or break a difference? And honestly, if AEW took away the TV 14 rating, if they took away the swearing, I don't think it would make or break the product. And I know that's not a popular opinion, because a lot of people think if you just say the word shit on TV, it's a really cool thing and it really helps the product. I don't think that's the case. I think your story is if your stories, your storytelling, your matches, those are the things that matter. Just because somebody said bitch on TV, I don't know if that's necessarily like, woo. But at the end of the day, AEW being reportedly told to tone it down does make a lot of sense. Warner Bros. Is shifting their future in terms of content. I look forward to seeing how AEW moves forward, especially with TV negotiations. And then obviously the thing that really makes me intrigued here is MJF. We know that he's bound to return at some point. In my opinion, I think it's all very interesting how these reports are coming out just around the time that MJF is also starting to come back. Again, AEW likes to blur the lines. I think MJF coming back saying fuck Warner Bros. And all this stuff, like that's the type of stuff that will get people talking. But for them to tone down their language, it does make sense. As far as blood goes, that's not really an issue. I never really thought blood was an issue in wrestling either way. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you next time.